we're walking and we're talking. So, when we decided we was going to up sticks and move to Australia back in January, there's one thing I wanted to leave behind, more than anything, and that is my relationship with alcohol. Moving to Australia presented like a great opportunity for me to change things. Obviously, a change in environment is a change in everything, and by not being around the drink culture, I thought, here we go, this is it. I've wanted to drop it for so long. I've wanted to alleviate its control that it has on me for so long. So I decided to knock it on the head altogether and go completely sober. Something that horrified me. The actual thought and idea of it horrified me. The sun is bright. So I wouldn't say I was a 7-day-a-week drinker, but that was never the problem for me. It wasn't how often I drunk. It was what happened when I did drink. And this is why I wanted to leave it alone. So basically, the more people I've spoken to, by the way, the more they can relate to this sort of thing. So this is why I want to put it out. But you work hard all week, or I worked hard. I'll speak in first person. I worked hard all week, worked on site, and literally by the time it got to Thursday, I'd count down the days to the weekend. It'd get to Friday and I'd drink heavy, drink to blackout drunk, drink to where my wife would have to fill in the blanks. My wife would have to tell me the next day, oh, she'd say something and I'd have this blank look on my face and she'd go, you don't remember, do you? And I go, no, I don't. I actually became like a bit of a standing joke that whenever we went around people's houses, I'd leave my shoes or I'd leave something behind because I was just that paralytic that I couldn't remember my things. I mean, it was bad. I was bad. And it hasn't been until I've come away from it for a while that I could truly see how bad and out of control I was getting. I've always liked to drink, but it was definitely getting worse, although I've never truly had control over it. So that would be Friday night. I'd wake up with a stinking hangover on Saturday, and I mean a real shocker. I'd go training, go kickboxing like I did every Saturday, and this is how I justified it to myself. This is how I justified my drinking, because I trained. And then after kickboxing, I'd be counting down the hours to get back on it, drink again, and it'd be the same thing. I'd go to oblivion, blackout drunk, as much as I could, and I'd drink fast. And the problem is, no matter where we was, when we went on holidays, day trips, wherever we went, the second that I had that first drink, my mind, my brain was just focusing purely on getting another one. Like I couldn't think about anything else. So it'd dominate the situation, it'd dominate the day or the week or whatever. If it was on holiday, it'd dominate the week. So it had power over me. It had a strong hold on me. And because I didn't drink 7 days a week, I'd just sort of say, well, I don't drink in the week, therefore I'm okay. But no, it's not the case. I even had this stupid thing where I thought at the age of 36, I'm sort of too young to be an alcoholic, which it sounds stupid, but the things that you do to justify your bad habits or your addictions is, we all know about that. So I thought, I cannot take this to Australia. I cannot take this selfishness, because it's a chronic selfishness. And I don't mind telling you, when I was about 4 or 5 weeks into my sobriety, in our house on the toilet wall, we have something called like a travel wall. So wherever we go, my wife picks up like a monument, artifact, like something from that place. So we went to Spain, she'll pick a plate up. Went to Thailand, an elephant canvas. So this wall's just peppered with all our travels, the different places we've been. It's cool what she does. And I sat and I looked at this wall. I was just glaring at it, and I looked at every different thing, different places we've been, different memories, and all I could see was alcohol. All I could think about was, wow, every day you drank, and every day you thought about drinking, and every day you just couldn't get enough, could you? You selfish bastard, you just couldn't get enough. And I was almost faking it, that I was okay, and I wasn't, because I used it as a medicine. I used it as a coping mechanism, and I can see that now. But I couldn't see that when I was drinking, that I never drank because I enjoy the taste of drink. Never. It was all lies. I drank because of a void, because I was stressed, anxious, you know, on edge. Drank to relax. Drank to feel good. Drank because I deserve to drink, because I've worked hard. You know, drank because, well, everyone drinks, or I've always been around drink. Drank because my mum was a landlady. I grew up in pubs. It's who I am. I'm working class. You know, I remember that phase. I'm a working class lad from Radford. You know, I drink. That's what we do. You know, immature, stupidity. And as I say, selfishness. Because since going sober, my wife, when we've gone out to pubs or whatever, has enjoyed one or two, because she has control. In fact, she's almost quit drinking herself. But the amount of times that she said to me, you know, it's just amazing to have you in the car, not with your head rolling round, just drunk all the time. And now she can enjoy having a drink. You know, I can drive, and we can get in, and I can still talk, I can still hold a conversation, because I'm stone cold sober. And yeah, I feel like when she said that, I don't think she realised that it cut deep. And I'm not feeling sorry for myself, because I was a selfish bastard, and she's right. You know, every single time we went out, it'd be her driving home and me just out cold on the passenger seat. You know, and it isn't great that my kids were seeing that neither, and it isn't a great example to them. But I just thought that's just what I do, and that's going to be it forever. But then when we decided to make that move, it just, call it spiritual, call it something, but there was just this intuition, just this feeling of like, right, here's your chance. Here's your opportunity, mate, to knock this thing on the head altogether, to stop this living for the weekend, getting smashed at the weekend, going back to work on Monday with chronic anxiety because of the withdrawals, to stop this depression, to stop this spiral. This is it. You know, you can do this. So I thought, I need to get some months behind me. I need to get some sober months behind me. And I promise you, hand on heart, I've said it before, I've said it literally on this video, but I remember saying two things to my missus. What am I going to do when we're around other people if I'm not drinking? I'm going to be boring. They won't like me anymore. They won't like me anymore. That's where I was. That's how far in I was. And she said, you're funny. You know, people like you. People want to be around you. I go, no, because that's when I'm drunk. When I'm sober, I'm a social hermit. I'm a recluse. I don't want to be at these events. I don't want to be around people when I'm sober. Bullshit. It's not true. That is not true. Look at me. I'm walking around a beautiful country park. I'm 14 weeks tomorrow. I can talk. I'm walking past people. I'm a confident guy. But it took that away from me, man. It took my confidence. It took my personality. It defined who I was. It dictated who I was. It had me. It had ultimate control, and I was powerless, no matter what I say. And it's liberating, because I've never said these words. I've done sober spells in the past. Believe it or not, I think I did once upon a time. I did, 4 months off it. But it was always with a time limit. And I have never told anybody until this time round. And I spoke to the closest people I know. And I knew I was going to lose friends. And I knew I was going to lose my social situation or change. I knew, and I was willing to sacrifice it, because I told my brother-in-law, I told one of my best friends, I said, listen to me, mate, I've got a problem. And I can't control it. I've got no control over this problem, and it's alcohol, and I've got to stop. And I'll tell you a mad thing. I'll spin a mad yarn. Listen to this one. So, basically, we booked a concert to go and see UB40, me and my friend. And we booked it when we was pissed. I think our missus has booked it, actually. I have to see, I don't even remember, because there was that much drink involved that night. And the concert actually was when I was 3 weeks into my sobriety, and I was petrified. I was nervous. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go because I thought, what am I going to do? It was UB40, Maxi Priest and Aswad at Nottingham Arena, and I thought, what am I going to fucking do? If I'm sober, I'm not going to be able to dance, I'm just going to be stood here for him. I was playing out like the scenarios in my head before we'd even gone. I was like, I'm just going to be stood next to him, stone cold sober, like a boring, again, awkward, this and that. And I literally nearly called it. I nearly rang him and says, I can't do it. And I was honest with him. I was honest with him, and I was honest with his missus, and I says, I don't know about this. I think honesty is the way out of this thing, man. And I just said, I don't know if I can do it, man. And I went. And you know what? It was a great night. And UB40 were wicked, and the music and the reggae vibe was unbelievable. And because I hadn't touched it, because I hadn't had a pint or whatever, my primary focus wasn't booze, it was the music. And I realised that night, when we was driving back, that I'd never been to anything like that sober. Forest matches, anything, it was always drink. And because there was no drink in my system, I actually listened to the lyrics, listened to the music, and I truly appreciated it. And my whole game wasn't based around getting another drink. It was actually about what was there, if that makes sense. So all this terror, fear, everything that I held was unnecessary. Now, don't get me wrong, let me be completely transparent with you. People were pissed around me, was in standing, and people, when they're drunk, when you're sober, is not very fun. But it was a minor. It was a minor in the grand scheme of things. I think I've said it on a previous video, but Mondays were my worst. I despised Mondays when I was a drinker. And Mondays have gone from my least favourite day of the week, man. I used to wake up a ball of anxiety. I'd walk on site and everything. I'm a joiner. Everything. Those doors need hanging. It felt intimidating. This needs doing. I'd be shaking, trembling. It was the drink. You know how I know it was the drink? Because I don't have that anymore. So it was drink related. And you know, if I've done Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the drink and then you're going to work, it wouldn't be till Wednesday that I felt relatively okay again. But then by Thursday, I'm counting down the days till I can go back on it on Friday. So it dominated my life, mate. But Mondays now, in the canteen and that, I see the lads come in that feel like I felt. I can see it. I can literally see their soul. And I don't feel like that no more. And I feel relieved, liberated. It's a rough feeling. Right, let me tell you a couple of funny things. First thing, to lift it a bit, I'm lost. I'm fully lost in the woods. I don't know where I am. Second thing, this episode I'm doing now talking about my sobriety, I am fully lost. I did this yesterday when the sun was going down, so I did it during the sunset, and I got home, did about a 25-minute episode, got home, pressed play, and I realised my mic wasn't on. But it is what it is. I still enjoyed getting out, walking and talking. Do you know what? I've done 1 week of creating content, and I can tell you something now. There's something in it mentally good. There's something in it that's good for you. I'm walking through a mad terrain here. I'm proper lost. I don't know where I am. I don't know this park very well. And I've just proper boxed myself in there. Look what I've just walked through. So yeah, I did the whole episode and nothing. Nothing. I got home and nothing. None of it recorded. I was mad. So yeah, that's my journey. That's where I am. And guess what? We've got a viewing on the house tomorrow. I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to tempt fate. I've got superstitious. Although I shouldn't. All my faith should be in this man, Jesus Christ. But I tell you something. We've got a viewing. And I've been to the tip today. I've got rid of all the clutter. And she's blitzed the house like you've never seen. Like Queen Elizabeth's coming. Or King Charles, should I say. She has blitzed that house. It's spotless. As in, you could eat your dinner off the toilet seat. I mean, logistically, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't get it. I mean, they're not going to not buy the ass if there's like a pube on the toilet seat, but I don't know. I think it's maybe a missus thing or a woman thing or whatever. We don't live in squalor, don't get me wrong. The ass is always quite tidy, but she's done it to another level this time. So we're really open, man. We're praying. If you're watching this, cross your fingers for us that these people come round and go, wow, why has no one bought this house? This is a beautiful house. Right, we'll give you a briefcase now. Go to Southeast Asia, enjoy yourself. Go move to Australia, brother. That's what we want, man. That's what we're hoping for. But talking about sobriety, every month that I'm here sober is another month of me being stronger, and I'm building up the strength. So when I go out there completely sober. And I just want to plug one more thing in, because I think I might know where I am. I think I might have found my way out of this maze. Probably not. I did my first holiday ever sober. So we've not long come back from Spain. I did a week in Spain. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't at an all-inclusive hotel, and I think that was thought out by both of us, with me being off the drink, although I still wouldn't have drank. But we was around bars, pints everywhere. We was in Ben Al Medina in Spain. It was gorgeous, red hot. I'm talking boiling, as hot as I've ever known anything. And I didn't touch a drop. I drank enough coffee to caffeinate 3/4 of the world and keep them up all night, but I didn't give in. That was the first time I'd done that, so that was a massive, massive deal for me. So just that, on top of everything else, fills me with, when we're traveling Southeast Asia and when we're doing Australia, you know, it's a new version, it's a new chapter, it's a new me, and anything's possible. You know, the possibilities are endless. I tell you one thing, I've always said, when people have said, what are you going to miss? You know, surely you're going to miss something when you leave the UK. And I've been like, no, because I got a little bit anti, I got a little bit too serious, my ego, I got a little bit like, you know. But this guys, you know, I'm in the woods. I truly took a few wrong turns and don't exactly know how to get back to my car. But I will miss this. I mean, this might be in Oz, and I know it's beautiful in Thailand, because we've been a few times, but yeah, the greenery, you know, this is England, you know, this is the Englishness, and I suppose if I'm going to miss anything, I'm going to miss this. But my God, the pros outweigh the cons of going, that's for sure. I've got to say, before I go then, the last thing I'll put out there, because I genuinely don't know where I am, I mean, this is getting mad, I'm getting further and further into this forest, is first week putting out content. Don't mess with barbers, do not mess with hairdressers. People talk about this country being divided and everyone fighting against each other. Barbers stick together. I did an Instagram reel, just messing about with it, about a skin fade experience I had that was a bit weird and made me a bit uncomfortable. I posted it. Again, I'm not too clued up with the posting content, but I posted it, and I've been peppered, brother, with comments from barbers saying, oi, there's nothing wrong with that haircut. They don't even know who cut my hair. They don't know. And yet they're all backing each other, and I love it. I'm absolutely loving the response. I'm like, you know what? Fair play, because I'm a joiner, and if any joiner spots what another joiner's done that's rough, they just snake them. But barbers, you know, I was critical of this skin fade, and they're going, no, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. That's a good haircut, and you shouldn't be calling that guy. Not that I was calling him, but you know what it's like on the internet. I was a bit exaggerated. So yeah, I know this park. I've found my car. Boy, I had to. I was getting a bit panicky there. Do you ever feel like you feel like a little child when you get lost? Like you go back to your childhood state? Because that's where I've just been. I was just 7 years old in there. But I know this park, and I can see my car in the distance. So, guys, I hope you like my content. Listen, I find it kind of hard to stay on topic. I've probably got ADHD, DD, something. But I do find it hard to stay on topic, and this video was about my sobriety. And I hope that I've got the point across, and I'll never neglect it. Because at the end of the day, I thought initially I don't want the channel to be dominated by my sobriety and talking about that. But at the same time, when I was drinking, I was happy to talk about it non-stop. Where we're going for a pint? Is there booze there? Is there a bar there? All the time, just domination. So why not now? Can I not talk to you as a sober man, as a happy man? Genuinely a happy man with butterflies in my stomach as I say those words, because believe you and me, that's not something I've been able to say all my life. I've said it 6-7 pints in after a couple of rum and cokes to my mate, this and that. But saying it sober, finding my car walking through this beautiful park, my God, I could say hand on heart, I've not felt this good in a very, very long time. Look out for my content. Hopefully, we'll be in Asia in not too long. God bless all of you. I'll see you again.